recognizing Dr. Bro and his board. There's a this is most everybody knows this is my last board meeting as a superintendent of schools for Alief. And one of the things 17 years ago when I was hired by Stafford, I remember walking into the room in which the 7 trustees of Stafford were sitting. And I remember so vividly sitting down with these individuals and not really truly understanding what they were doing, like what was their role. I knew they were elected and I knew they were there to represent that community. But over the 17 years, in which, by the way, I did some math the other day, I think I've participated in right at 725 board meetings, workshops, meetings. Y'all know what I'm talking about. But I hope the community, and I hope the community in Alief can appreciate, or attempts to appreciate, how well functioning this board is. You don't have to go very far. As a matter of fact, you could go on the internet and Google 1,000 board meetings across this country where there is high drama, unnecessary attention being given to things that have absolutely nothing to do with what's going on in the classrooms. This board does not allow that to happen. They're sometimes accused of being a rubber stamper. Nothing could be further from the truth. I just want the Alief community, those who are in this room right now, those who are watching this and who will watch it at some point, to know that Dr. Bro and her 6 colleagues are serving this community so well. And they are holding the superintendent, his feet to the fire. They'll hold the next superintendent's feet to the fire. There will be other accolades, there will be other things that come along. But as a superintendent, I could not, in my wildest dreams, ask for a better board of trustees. I've said this before, whenever I met with Ms. Williams and shared with her what was on my mind, this was back in the spring, and then I shared with the board in closed session what was on my mind about my future. This doesn't happen. They basically said, Mr. Chambers, let's work together and let's make this work for you, and let's make this work for Alief ISD. That doesn't happen everywhere else. Most superintendents exit with a good riddance. And there's some of you sitting in this room that are going to say, good riddance, actually. Get out of here. That's fine. That's fine. I accepted that responsibility. I accepted that criticism the day I signed the contract. And I will continue to accept it. But for this board to have handled itself the way it has over the particularly the last 2.5 years, with the issues and the stresses that have been placed on governing bodies, elected officials, classroom teachers, administrators. I think tonight, recognizing Dr. Bro is just symbolic of this entire board and how this board operates and the way in which it goes about governing. And again, I hope that this community and that those who pay attention to our school system have the intellectual capacity and the intellectual honesty to take that in and to appreciate that and to recognize that where it's due. So thank you, board, for you recognizing what your role is. And as a superintendent, I will forever be grateful. Forever be grateful. I want to thank real quick, if it's okay. I'd like to thank our staff. I'm not going to recognize everyone, but in the spirit of a board meeting, I want to recognize one individual. Charles Woods. Charles is the last man standing in the Superintendent's Council when I got it. Not counting Ms. Tomas, starting Thursday morning, who's coming back to the council. But Charles has been a rock-solid employee, friend, Alief ISD takes things way too personal. And I will tell you, this district is 100 times better because of Charles Woods. And I want to thank him for his support, his loyalty to me, his honesty, his desire to do what's right, to correct me when I'm wrong, to challenge me when I'm wrong, and to keep everyone's focus on the school system and the money that goes along with it and how that impacts students and teachers. So Charles, thank you very much. I want to thank the Alief community. As I was beginning cleaning out my office last week, came across, like anyone else does, who's been in a place for a long time and collect a lot of junk. But I started seeing pictures of people that were at Crump Stadium when I was first hired, and everybody wanted to know who HD is. And but I want to publicly thank the community for accepting myself, for holding me accountable, for allowing me to lead a diverse community of which I don't look like. I have the smartest thing I ever did, and this is the truth, Pastor, was my first board meeting, officially sitting in this chair, had a group of pastors. At the time, the podium was sitting right over there, and a group of pastors came up of all persuasions, of all denominations, of all races, of all languages, and they said a prayer. And I saw Pastor Ricky Bradshaw this past Saturday night at a function I attended with Alief Cares. And we talked about that. And how can a superintendent's tenure go wrong when it starts out with people praying for him? At the time, I recognized the power of that. I'm a person of faith, and from that perspective. But even more than that was, these are men and women of our community who care about their school system, which is code for we care about our kids. We care about the children of our school system. And so, to the community, thank you for accepting me, tolerating me in some cases. For those who have been critical of me and critique me and still trying to figure out what my name is, turn your energy to good. Turn your criticism to good. If you didn't like me, I'm not going to be here anymore. You're going to have to find something else. So turn that negative energy and put it into something positive to benefit the district that some people say they love so much. Don't let one man interfere with that. Don't get obsessed over one man. We got 41,000 kids. We got 6,000 employees. That's who you should get obsessed over. So I appreciate the community's acceptance. I appreciate the community's support. We passed close to $1 billion worth of bond funds over my tenure. We've built buildings. We've got programs. We've got things that I am extremely proud to be able to play a small part in. Extremely proud. As I shut up here, I just want the board to know, where is it? Oh, did I not bring it? Doesn't matter. I found a folder. So this is how superintendent applications work. This is what we do to try to get jobs. So I don't know if Mr. Marino and Ms. Williams recall this, but my first interview in Alief, I put together this folder. And it had, it was a little cover letter, why am I interested in the job? And then the next page had what you can expect from HD Chambers. And there were 12 things. And I haven't looked at that thing in 12 years. Don't worry about getting it, it's okay. But I went and looked at it the other day when I found it for the first time, and I'm going to send it to you guys. You can judge whether I follow through with what I said on a piece of paper. And And then as I was looking at it, I found my first set of board notes. For some of you that don't know, most Thursdays, in the last couple of years, every Thursday before midnight, you can fact check me on that, we would prepare board notes. And I say we, because it wasn't me, it was staff. It was Charles, and at the time Gina and Ms. Montgomery, and now it's Kathy and Dr. Fowler, and Kim, and others would prepare board notes. I found my very first board notes that were dated April the 12th, 2000. I don't know. They've improved greatly since then. But it has been my professional honor. I've been in education 37 years. I said this at my retirement reception the other day. The funnest job I ever had was coaching high school football and teaching U.S. history. That was the funnest. The 6 years I did that was the funnest. I had a blast. The best job I've ever had was the last 12 years in this district. And that's the honest to God truth. It's the best job I've ever had. So thank you. Thank you to the trustees, Mr. Gary Cook, who was board president when y'all hired me, Ms. Sarah Winkler, Mr. John Hanson, Mr. Lee Ho, Ms. Ella Jefferson, Mr. Rick Marino, and Ms. Ann Williams. Thank you. And for those who have tolerated me over the last 12 years, thank you for continuing to consider me the superintendent of this school district. So thank you very much, and God bless everyone, and God bless the Alief Independent School District. Thank you.